So it's now day 3 in my 30-day practice of bringing awareness to my relationships with my husband and children. And I had an interesting experience this morning. I was preparing breakfast a little bit later than the rest of my family, and I just about got it all ready and was going to go and sit to the table. And I went to take my plate of poached eggs across to the table, and I wasn't really paying attention, and somehow the eggs slid off the plate and they splattered all over the floor. I have a tendency to be a little bit harsh on myself when I make a mistake or when something like this happens. So I kind of felt a little bit tense when that happened. And my husband came in and said, "Oh, what happened?" And I said, "Look, my eggs are on the floor. They fell off the plate. They were hot. I burnt my fingers." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And he went out of the room. And this flash of anger came for me. And it kind of took me by surprise because I was really angry at my husband. And I took some time to think about this. Why was I angry at him? And I was seeing all this thinking of blaming him. Why don't you help me clean it up? And why do I have to do this? And I've hurt myself. I've burnt my fingers, and now my breakfast is all over the floor, and nobody's helping me. This wouldn't have happened if you had have made me breakfast this morning, if you had have just known what I wanted and what I needed this morning. And this was a shock for me to see that from this incident of me dropping eggs on the floor, I was feeling angry at my husband and I was blaming him. And as I started to reflect upon this, it was kind of like a bit of a penny dropping. It was like, Bianca, this isn't the first time this has happened. This is a very familiar thing that happens. That, sometimes when there's a little disappointments that happen during the day, or, I make a mistake or something doesn't go my own way, one of my habitual tendencies is to get angry or frustrated and to blame somebody. And often I blame my husband. That's a habit I've been nurturing. And when I started to really think about what happens when I blame him, is it maybe for the few minutes, maybe hours, maybe for the whole day after that incident, I probably won't speak to him in a very loving and kind way. I'll probably withdraw from him a little bit. And as I was watching this morning, I kind of remembered some situations that had happened, and I felt that tendency now that, I could quite easily play that out. I could quite easily be short with him when he came back into the room and when he came to see how I was, or I could avoid speaking to him, or I could be just a little bit cold and a little bit withdrawn from him. And it wasn't exactly something I expected to see. It wasn't a comfortable thing to see about myself, but wow, I just noticed something that I hadn't really noticed before, something that impacts my ability to connect to my husband and to experience the love and the care that he gives to me. And so for me, this is a beautiful practice, being able to bring awareness to my thinking and seeing those little things that happen every day that have an impact on my experience of connection and of love. I told my husband about this experience after I'd reflected on it, and we laughed, and it was really lovely to share that with him and just to go, I have a choice. I have a choice about how I will let this impact my day, or I can just laugh about it with you and we can move on and enjoy beautiful moments together.